Hi, guys. So, I would like to pose a question. Now, I have received a few comments from folks on both of my channels, my personal and the Pedantic Skeptic channel here, um, where people are criticizing me for presenting in an androgynous fashion. Now, it's generally, like, oh, I can't tell if you're a man or a woman or whatever, are you male or female, blah, blah, blah. Um, One, I'm a cyborg. I'm just kidding, but I do want to pose a question about that. Why does it matter? Um, why is it important for you to know the sex I was assigned at birth? How does it affect you in any way? I have a couple of guesses, and I'm going to get to that in a moment, but I do want to say that people are allowed to present androgynously if they wish to. I don't do anything specifically to look androgynous. I just happen to look, I happen to have features from, male and female, stereotypical whatever, and it's just the way I've always been. For those of you wondering, like, I grow my hair out long. That is because I grow it out, I cut it off, and I send it to Wigs for Kids, which is an organization that makes wigs for children who are like undergoing chemotherapy or who have alopecia or something else that's preventing them from having a head of hair. So that's why I grow my hair out. So as you can tell, I recently cut it off. Um, I autoclaved it to denature any kind of allergenic proteins that might have been within my hair because, I'm outside a lot or I'm like got my face in a roach bin and people can be allergic to roaches. There's actually one roach species I'm allergic to, so I don't rear that species. But anyway, and mites and all sorts of other shit. Anyway, my idea about this whole thing is that the people who are so bent out of shape about you not being able to tell if somebody's male or female is that they have this one or two things. One, they don't know how much respect to give the person. These are usually misogynistic people who believe that they should be listening to men or males more. They should give men or males more respect, and they should be a little bit more considerate of somebody should they be a male. And so if they can't tell if somebody's a male or female, there's a little bit of a hang up there because they don't want to give somebody too much respect or not enough, and so they use it as a criticism. The other possibility is you're trying to gauge a person's fuckability. I'm just going to say that. You're trying to figure out if that is a person you could possibly fuck. Because if you, for example, are a cis heterosexual male, you're a cisgender man, and you're attracted to women only, and you can't tell if somebody is a man or a woman or anything else because man and woman aren't the only options. I mean, we've been through this before. Biological sex is not even binary. There are intersex people, and outside of the realm of humans, there are many more than just male and female sexes in other organisms. Fungi, for example, don't necessarily have male and female. They have compatible and incompatible strains that can number in the thousands. But that's another matter. Anyway, you are one of those people who decides the way you're going to interact with somebody simply based on whether or not you could possibly crawl into their pants. And that is shameful because nobody owes you fuckability. Nobody owes you sex. Nobody owes you the chance to have sex with them. It's just, you're not entitled to that. Now, my guess is that people who want to criticize anybody for presenting in an androgynous fashion are going to have one of those two concerns. Okay? Now, I don't have any problem finding suitable sexual partners, regardless of my appearance. Um, and, I'm upfront with people about what body parts I do and don't have. Okay? Now, I'm not going to share on here the sex I was assigned at birth because I don't have to. Okay? I don't have to do that. So I'm not going to because it doesn't matter. There is no reason to be wound up about it. Okay? If you are close to me in my personal life and there's a reason to know where you really need to know, like if you're my doctor or, a sexual partner or something like that, that's one matter. But outside of that, there's no need to know. And I think the fact that people, can't be certain one way or the other is really what causes a lot of hang up. And guess what? That's a you problem. That's not a me problem. All right? Just saying. The other thing is that somebody's appearance, especially if it's an appearance that they can't necessarily do anything about, or that doesn't come about from like irresponsible behavior, and I'll get to that in a minute, is not necessarily a valid criticism of them. Okay? Now, if I were unkempt, like filthy and, like had a hard time like with hygiene and stuff like that, that might be a valid criticism in some regards. Now, it might be a matter of, like, hey, you seem to be struggling with your hygiene. Maybe you should work on that. Um, you know, get some help, whatever. Um, but aside from that, it's not really even a good rebuttal to anything I have to say. Okay. Now, if I was, morbidly obese, for example, then you might have, a case that, like, I don't behave myself. I overindulge. I don't have self control, things like that. But, when it comes to how feminine or masculine somebody presents, that is not really a valid criticism of anything. Unless I was going around asserting that I'm the epitome of masculinity, the epitome of femininity, or whatever, you could say, well, no, you're not because of this, and that. Okay, great, whatever. But I'm not going around making that claim. Okay? Now, I don't mind looking androgynous at all. If I did, I might do something about it, but it doesn't like phase me. I have 10 million other things to worry about. Um, like I have my orchids and I have to wake up some orchids and I might be moving, I don't know yet. And, I might have killed a few of my ferns that I was really hoping not to kill, but because I forgot to water them, and it's a long story there. I've just got like 12 million other things going on right now that don't have anything to do with my physical appearance that kind of have to come before that. Okay? And maybe it's an autistic person thing where, there's not a shit ton of effort put into your appearance. Like I know a lot of like autistic cis women, for example, who don't bother with makeup and shit like that. Okay? Um, or don't have like 80 million hair products that they throw on themselves every night in the shower. Um, and I actually do also know like an autistic AFAB person who one of their special interests is makeup, and so this person does put on a lot of makeup, which is their prerogative. They're allowed to do that. But the thing is, if you want to criticize anything that I say, that's fine. Okay, and we can have a conversation about that. But to criticize simply the fact that you can't tell if I was born male or female, that's a moot point. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't make a damn bit of a difference. And if you think it does, then there's something wrong with you. Okay? Because you either have a concept that males and females of our species are not equal, which, I mean, I guess it depends on what you mean by equal, but when it comes to being deserving of respect and, things like that, they're equal. Okay? But, in any instance, you don't need to know somebody's biological sex. Now, I'm sure most of us subscribe to content creators, for example, who their like character, if you will, on their videos is, somebody in a costume or somebody, maybe it's an animated character, an avatar or whatever. Um, and they use a voice mic in such a way where you can't tell if the person behind that character is a male or female. And nobody at all, as far as I can tell, gets, worked up about that. So I ask again, why does it matter if you can't tell if somebody is a male or female? Okay? Why do you need to know that so badly?